And of course, today we do know that the big news was the flurry of results we saw. We saw the likes of Mansard, FCMB, Ashaka Cement. But let's start with FCMB and get your perspective on how that stock traded and reacted to the results that we did see today.
Thank you, Wole. Very happy to be with you. A lot of results actually hit the market today. And almost all the Q3 profit after tax were positive and very, very impressive, improving remarkably over what came out of those companies last year. The one you mentioned specifically, which is FCMB, was very impressive, coming up with a profit after tax of about 10 billion naira, just like all the other banks have come up with very impressive Q3 earnings. Unfortunately, in spite of the impressive nature of the result released by FCMB, the stock still suffered a decline of about 8 kobo. I think it was overwhelmed by the large volume of stock which was supplied into the market, perhaps by profit takers today. But all in all, the performances of the companies whose third quarter results were released were very, very impressive, and the market also reacted enthusiastically. Almost all of them gained. The gainers chart, which was led today by CAP, was as a result of the very impressive performance by CAP PLC. In fact, the company gained 1 naira 41 kobo as a result of the result, and also the interim dividend of 1 naira 25 kobo, which was declared by the company. So it was a market that surged today, driven principally by the strength of its fundamentals.
Right, of course. We did see the banking sector up about 1.3%. As you mentioned, we did see FCMB release numbers. We are still expecting First Bank, of course. So that's the next big one that we're anticipating. Perhaps we'll see that sometime this week. Your broad views on the banking sector and the rally we've seen today?
Yes, today's rally was actually facilitated principally by the gains made in the 3 principal banking stocks. First Bank gained today, GT Bank also gained, Zenith Bank also appreciated. Those 3 stocks helped in taking up the index today, notwithstanding the heavy gains made by CAP, PZ, and a few other stocks. So I think we're seeing a banking sector that shows it has fully recovered from the financial crisis that engulfed the sector a few years ago, and the fundamentals are getting stronger by the day. I will not be surprised if at the end of this year, one of the 3 principal banks comes up with a profit after tax in the region of 100 billion naira. Nobody will be surprised at such a surge, because we're already seeing the indications starting from the first quarter of the year, then the second quarter improving beyond the first quarter, and now the third quarter becoming so remarkably impressive. And so expectations are very high that at the end of the year, the profit after tax will be very, very remarkable that will come out from the banking sector. And you also realize...
Sorry, David, when do you anticipate we'll begin to see positioning ahead of those full-year numbers? We know that, of course, full-year numbers will be audited, so we probably won't see them out till about March, April next year. But at what point do you think we will see that next major bull run in the banking sector ahead of the release of those results?
No, I think the positioning has already begun, considering what we noticed today, that almost all the banks, led by the 3 principal banks, appreciated significantly. So the positioning may have actually started, although it may not be a persistent upward movement. At a point in time, speculators will take profit and marginally drive down the prices. But I think generally there's the forward movement in the prices of those principal banks.
All right,
The demand is getting stronger.
Okay, can you just share a final word on Ashaka Cement? I see that the share price is flat today, unchanged, even though we did see some fairly strong results. If you ask many analysts, they're pointing to the PBT number up significantly. But of course, they're also pointing to the impacts of possibly the floods and the, any impact that may have on logistics for manufacturers like that. Your thoughts on that sector in general, and of course Ashaka Cement in particular?
Yes, let me start with Ashaka Cement in particular, with what I noticed today in the course of trading. Soon after the impressive third quarter result was released, there was a serious demand for that security. Unfortunately, there was almost no supply, and so up till the end of trading today, Ashaka Cement remained on full bid. But because the volume of transaction was not significant enough to move the price, and so it remained where we started this morning. Otherwise, it remained on full bid up till the end of trading. But from what we're seeing from, in respect of the cement industry is a sector of the economy that is coming up strongly. Everything is working out well for that sector. And we learned not quite long ago that the cement production in the country has possibly now surpassed the domestic demand. And so it's like an industry that is poised to moving the economy into an export zone, especially for that product line. So it's a sector that is strong, that is lifting the entire economy of the country upward. And so it's not surprising, therefore, that investors are staking their resources massively in that sector. It still has a growth potential.